work breakdown structure in the module. So today we are going to start the next topic, which we have discussed in the theory also. Once we have completed this requirements analysis and planning, we will be directly going to the design stage. Okay, in the life cycle, we used to start from requirements analysis and planning. We have already done requirement analysis, that is nothing but SRS, preparation of SRS. So we started preparing a project scenario template for better understanding about the domain. And then we have prepared the software requirement specification as prescribed in the IEEE template that you have completed as your exercise. Then we have moved towards the scheduling part, which is nothing but the planning part. Last lab, we have practiced this work breakdown structure, like the modules, or we have clearly explained the things what you are going to do and what is the time it is going to consume, and who is going to take care of these responsibilities, like we have mentioned. And now we have in our hand both SRS and also work breakdown structure. So as software engineer, you got the details, like what you are going to develop and what you are going to project, what you are going to do as a project, and what is the plan. So these three things you got in your hand. Now it's time to forward towards the next team who is going to design based on the SRS and based on the plan what you are going to provide them. Okay, we are slowly moving towards the next stage. Okay, so the design stage, the purpose of design, can you just tell me, like, what is the purpose of the design? Yes. Why you are drawing diagrams? Why you are representing via these diagrams or graphical representations, or you are using some images? What is the purpose? Can you just tell me?
It is easy to interrupt the data and all.
Yes. First and foremost point, thank you very much. It is easy for us to interpret and it is easy for us to understand, no? Like, yes, I have given you some textual information. Not only I'm saying for the subject, I'm generally saying I'm just providing you the text information. You can go through the text information and you can get the interpretation of your information. But still, you know, like by seeing an image, it is very easy for us to get an idea. Right? One image is equivalent to 1,000 words. Okay, this is like a unwritten proverb. Like what they are saying is like one image can represent, okay, what you are going to say it in 1,000 words. So that much power we will used to have in this image representation. Okay, so instead of writing paragraphs and instead of writing as a report and you are submitting, yes, we have mapped with SRS, we had some report, and now slowly we are moving to represent it. That's very important. Okay, whenever you just refer the document, you will be in a position to understand. So in such case, okay, we have to follow some standards to represent the project what we have collected in terms of SRS. So there comes the design part. So requirements planning is over. Sorry, requirements analysis is over and planning is over. Now we are going towards the design. So you know, like for the next probably around 3 to 4 labs, you will be drawing diagrams. Okay, you will be practicing yourself. And today you'll be seeing DFD, and next 2 to 3 labs you'll be going for UML diagrams. So under UML, that is nothing but Unified Modified Language, under which we will be having some around 15 to 16 diagrams are there, but we cannot able to practice all those things. So we'll be selecting very common diagrams that will be useful for us in representing these requirements. We'll be doing 4 or 5 diagrams. Each class we will practice 2 diagrams, and so totally 4, and along with the DFD we'll be going with the 5 diagrams. Right, I will give you the information about the other diagrams, and if you are interested personally, you can also practice those diagrams in the tool. So I will also give you the tool, which means you can easily download from the internet, which is a free of source, free of cost, and we can practice your own diagrams. Okay, so for the next 3 to 4 classes, as I have mentioned, it will be purely about the diagrams. Okay, is that clear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So I have mentioned you that instead of going through the documents, you know, like I don't have enough patience, and also I don't have enough time to understand So I just want to see the diagrams. By that way, I can able to go for coding it. So that is the idea in this particular design stage. So I told you design. So out of which first we are going for data flow diagram. So the name itself, it is giving you a clear indication that we are going to identify the flow of data, how it is going to be transferred from one module to the other module, or from one task to another task, how the data flow is going to be, whether it's going to be input or it is going to be an output. So we have to analyze all these conditions. That is how we are going to represent here in a DFD. Okay. So DFD is nothing but data flow diagrams. We will be using it as a graphical representation or a graphical tool, which will help us to communicate with the end users, or he may be a consumer, he may be a manager, or who are working in the team, who are working as a part of the team. So this representation will be, creating a communication link between these people, because they will go through this and they will come up with the ideas. Okay, fine, you have given me some diagram. Yeah, I have understood, but still there are few corrections we can do it, and I can update it in the coding also. So there comes the communication. By seeing the diagram itself, a lot of discussions will come into the picture, and easily these people can able to discuss with each other. So that's the first point. So it is going to create the communication between these people who are working as a part of the development of any product or a software or even a project. Okay, and it is used to perform structured analysis to determine logical requirements, obviously, because in the SRS we will be writing all the things whatever the customer is asking, and I have represented it as an SRS. But here I'm just going to represent like which one can be used as a logic. You are saying it is a login, sign up, okay, and sign in. So these are the few logic I can deploy, and I will just represent these pages. Okay, but what actually the customer will do, what he will be expecting, we have to give the username and password, and then we need to press login. And if the username and password is wrong, it has to display the message called username and password is wrong. Likewise, I will be detailing explaining everything in the in the SRS. But here I'm not bothered about it, because I just want to find the logical requirements. Okay, I just want to trace on the logic, and based on this logic, what I'm going to do, what will be the input and what will be the process, and at the end, what is the output. So it is a structured analysis, input, process, and output. So likewise, we can able to design, or we can able to draw this DFD for all the modules that are present inside a project. Okay, sometimes this also will be helpful in making us to understand the difference, also to analyze the existing and the proposed systems. So you can, yesterday I have told you, like, please trace on a few for the few students who are coming under me. In the J component, I have given them an advice, like go back to the previous systems, how they have completed the task, or how they have executed the problem, or how they have solved it. So I asked them to solve at least to check 3 to 4 years paper, like 21, 20, and 19. So in that case, we need to find some diagram, right? Instead of having a block diagram, we can also go for this DFD, and you can have some analysis over it, how the input is processed and how the output is getting at the end, and what are the stages that are involved between input and output. So these many things we can able to represent via DFDs. So as the name is mentioned, our keen focus should be on the data, how it is going to be flow from one place to other place. So here they are saying there's a movement of data and between certain entities. The external entities and other processes I will show in the next slide. So as after you have an understanding how the data is moving from one place to the other place, it's going to be very simple. And why we are going to draw this DFD, because there must be some purpose, right? People are not simply sitting idle, they are working on their own job, so they need to go forward this to next team. So why we are going for DFD? Okay, so we're just going to speak about all these factors what we are what I have displayed in the PPT. First thing is, like, what is the type of data, or what kind of data the system is going to process. Okay, what type of data, whether it's going to be, for example, it is an image data, or it's a video data, or it is going to be textual information. What is the type of data, or what kind of data the system is going to process, that we need to understand. So the data may be different, right, for different applications. For one application, the data will be entirely different, and we cannot say like all applications will follow the same data. It is no way possible, right? Each and every application has its own data and also own processing methods. So what kind of data? Then what are the transformations it is going to be performed? Okay, so you are going for a payment gateway. So you are logging in and you are sending the money. And once you have sent, you'll be going for the payment gateway page, and it will be giving your OTP. Once it is done, you will be coming up with the result called a payment successful. So we have a payment and we have the receipt. Two things here. So payment is something, but from your end, you are going to pay something and you are getting the result like as a paid. So we have some transformations that we have to analyze, and how the data is going to be stored, where we are going to store, and what are the results we have achieved at the end, and how the data is going to flow from one place to another place. So all the points we can able to easily identify from a DFD. So as I have mentioned, it is going to create a communication very importantly between the user and the analyst, because end user, he is nowhere, he is no way, or he is not a part of this development, which means in DFT. So he is just going to have the communication between the analyst, and he will give his point. Okay, this is fine, and you can be able to proceed with the same design. Or if you want to add some design, you can just give him the suggestions. So it is going to act as a communication tool between user and the analyst, and also between the analyst and the designer. So like this is going to be interdependency, like user, analyst, and system designer. So these three people are going to play a crucial role, because the next step is something but the implementation step. So if you make any mistake here, or if you are going to have any problem with respect to design, then obviously you will be ending up with a heavy problem on your shoulder when you are going for the coding part, which is something but the like a programming part. So what you will say, if you have made any mistake, you will easily blame this design. So I have done everything based on the design what he has suggested. So nothing is in my hand. I have followed all the procedures. So in that way, you will be the sole responsible person to answer all the queries. So here comes the answer, like we have to be very clear in creating the communication between the user and analyst and also system designer. So please come up with some common agenda and complete it. So for that discussion, this DFD will help. Okay. So do you follow what I'm saying? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Fine. So how we are going to draw the diagram? What are the symbols we need to represent? For a flow chart, we have start, right? We have a oval shaped start, and we have a oval shape for stop, and we have the parallelogram shape for getting input, and for decision tree we have the diamond symbol. Likewise, we have always provided some symbols to represent the flow chart. Likewise, we have also to represent these 4 points, which are the elements of a DFD. Without these 4 elements, the DFD will not be concluded, or you cannot say that it is a perfect DFD. People will lose marks here also in DFD, because they will not draw it properly. They will simply connect all the modules, but you have to represent in a proper way, in such a way that which one is source, who is the external entity, that is called as a source or sink, and which are the processes that are involved, and what is the data store they are going to follow for storing the data information, or how the data is going to flow from each module, from one module to the other module. So all these 4 points or 4 elements you have to represent in the DFD for better understanding. So this Gann and Sarson and DeMarco and Jordan both are going to follow the same symbols in their own terminology. They have given their things, but representation is going to be same. Like for external entity, it will be in the rectangle box, and the process will be with an underline in the box. Like it is not like a underline. You can say we have a partition, so that represents the process. And if you are going to use this oval shape here, it is going to be process. But in flow chart, this oval shape is for start and end. But here it is going to speak about the process. And as usual, we have data store, which contains the information or data about the particular entity. So here we have the partition, and in DMarco, they are not using any partition. They are simply giving the name and finally the data flow. So if it is going towards the other module, then it is going, it is called as a outgoing. And if the information is going to be inwards towards a particular module, then I will be saying this as incoming. So both incoming and outgoing is possible. You have to trace down what are the events are outgoing and what are the events are going to be ingoing to the particular module. So external entity, process, data store, data flow. These four people, these four symbols are being the part of your DFD. So you have to utilize it, but appropriately. You please don't randomly pick the diagram and don't use it. You have to follow the rules. Okay, so that rules are what we can say, like it's a description by which you can able to understand where we can use this external entity or where we will represent the process, data store and data flow. So normally, like process, we could be able to understand like whatever the process you are going to carry out any type of execution, those kind of steps that will be covering in the process. But rest we can have it in external entity, or if you want to store any data which is maintained by someone, that is called as the data store, and the data flow between the modules is called as, the flow of data between modules is called as a data flow. Okay, so external entity is nothing but the people. It is going to represent the nouns like people or organization. Okay, that is going to send the data into the system, that is called as an external entity, that you can represent as an external entity. So the thing is like either the people or organization of an industry or of a company can send and receive. So that is nothing but external entity. Okay, the process is nothing but the data, what you are going to feed, the data, what is going to be happened, what is going to happen in the next step. What is the process, what you have executed on this data. I have given 1, 2. What is the process? It is the process of addition. So 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. So how the data is going to be transformed? And once you got the result, where we are going to send the data, which means transforms incoming data into outgoing data. Because I have completed my task, right? I have executed my data. Now I need to forward the data to the next module. So incoming to outgoing data. Okay. And data store, as I mentioned, it is going to store all the permanent data that is used by the system. So it is like a warehouse, data warehouse. Data flow, as usual, the actual flow of the data between the other elements will be called as data flow. So these four descriptions or four entities you must always remember, starting from external entity, process, data store, and data flow. So just to keep some points as a shortcut for you to understand, like external entity in the sense some people or organization, the nouns. Okay, those people will be coming under the category of external entity. Either the data may move from here to there or from the opposition to the internal system. So both way it is possible. Okay, and process I told you like what actually we are going to do it with the data, and we are going to execute the data. So in that case, it is going to be a transformation. How it is going to be transformed from one data to another data, which is nothing but incoming to outgoing. Right. So the data store is nothing but it is going to represent the data which is maintained for that particular system. For an example, if you are going to make a reservation system, like you will be having all the information about the passengers and how you are going to store, okay, permanently for the future reference. And data flow is nothing but the data flow, as I have mentioned, from input module to the output module, how it is going to be transferred. Have any doubts as of now? These four entities or four symbols, what you are going to represent? Yes, Kevin, you are trying to say something?
No, sir.
Fine, thank you. Right. So you are going to use these four, four elements via these symbols. I have showed here the symbols, right? The external entity, process, data store and flow, the rectangle and the process with the partition and the data store with the partition or without partition. Either GAN and Sarsen symbol you can follow or DMarco. So the only difference is for process and this data store. Rest will be the same. Okay. So like they have given with one example, like if you are a supplier, sorry, it's a spelling mistake, it's LIER, like they have mentioned as supplier. So he is going to have the source that is going to supply the data to the system. Sink is nothing but, see, you can see either you can mention it as a source or sink. It's an external entity again. So who is going to receive the data from the system? Okay, so they are not going to process any data. If you are deploying anything on the data for processing it, you can do it. Right. So coming to the point, like you can just have this as a better understanding. I showed this source and sink. Now it is about the process what you are going to do. Like, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the thing is like, see here, the store is something but the process which we are going to do. Okay, and we can have this like what we can say for the student, if you want to generate the grade report, okay, you want to get something out of the results. So in both cases, we are representing the process. You can see here, one is for your grade sheet, another one is for report. So both the things are possible, and you can use any one of the symbol, whichever you are very much comfortable. So the only thing you must understand is like what type of actions or what type of works you are going to carry out and how you are going to execute it. So it is going to represent the type of work or type of action. So here we are going to produce something. That producing is something but your grades, the student's grade report. You have you have got the result, okay, and I want to generate the grade. Okay, first the result will be released, and based on the comparative grading, and then I'll be going for this generation of your grades. So this is nothing but a process again. Okay, so you are writing an examination like CAT 1 examination, CAT 2 examination. I will take this your own internal assessment as an example. And each and every time we will be calling this a process, because we are setting the question paper and you are going for writing an examination. And once you have completed, we are evaluating it. And once evaluated, we are releasing the mark in the Kotandra or in VTOP. So, like this is a process of evaluating your sheets or your answer sheets. So to evaluate you, we are following this many number of steps. So this is nothing but an evaluation process. Likewise, we have n number of processes that are involved in any sort of system, and you need to identify first, like what are the processes that are involved. So you cannot straight away go and sit for drawing the diagram. You need to start from the first stage, like what are the processes that are involved. Okay, who are the persons or who are the applications who are involved in this. Okay, then we need to go for devise the process. So the first thing is like identifying the process and go for representing it either by this partitioned one, or you can go for this oval shape. Both are acceptable. So like in the bottom I have mentioned about this grade report. In the top we have mentioned about the stores. Like if someone is coming and buying, and you are giving some delivery slip for giving the product, okay, and he is having his own slip for his reference. So this is again a small process, like you are going and buying something, so you need to buy the products by paying the bill. Okay, so once you are paid, he will be giving you the delivery slip, okay, along with the amount what you have paid. So likewise we can go for finding the process. So it is going to take place inside the system. Try to understand these processes will be getting executed inside the system. It is not no way, or it is no way related to the outside, but in the source or sink it is going to be an external entity, and I am not bothered about from where it is coming. It is coming from somewhere. So I am the external external participant. So but this process is going to be the main factor that is going to play inside the system. So the works or actions that is going to be performed on the data will be available inside the system. So how I can represent it? I can represent both input arrows and also output arrows, like how the arrows have been represented for stores and also for this grade report generation. So if it is going to move towards outside, okay, try to understand. At the end you can see it is going to represent like from 2. Have a better understanding from 2. So from previous model I am getting some grade details, and from the report I am generating the grade report. So it is nothing but from and to. The straight line with the incoming arrows are always going to be input data. So the straight lines with outgoing arrows are always going to be output data. So outgoing in the sense you can see the arrow marks which is directed towards the outside, and incoming is nothing but the arrow marks denoted towards the process. Then we can say like a input and a output flows. So you can also label each and every data flow so that I can have a better understanding. You can see here, if I simply draw this 1.0 and produce a grade report, I don't know from where I'm getting. If I have only 2 arrows, now I have represented from the grade details. I'm just getting some information, and I'm going to generate the result of grade. So likewise, you need to represent. Okay. See here one more example. Like you have submitted something as a student, you have submitted something as an assignment. Okay, that's belonging to your student work, and finally somebody is going to evaluate. Some faculty members are going to evaluate and they are going to grade, and also they are going to display the grades for the students. And if another example, if you just consider the employee, okay, and he is going to calculate this gross pay. So what we will be getting as an input, number of hours he has worked, okay, and for each and every hour how much he has been paid. For example, 8 hours he has worked for one day. So per hour, if you are going to pay 100 rupees, which means 8 into 100, 800 rupees, that will be given as an input towards the gross pay, and then will be generated the pay slip. So you identify the incoming and outgoing flow of data. So which is input and which is going to be what you are going to generate as an output. So the intermediate step is going to be process. See here again. So somebody is ordering something, and you have ordered and you have collected it, and once you have accepted it, the order has been done, and finally you are giving the inventory. Okay, so there must be some logic. So please don't say that even a small module as a process. There must be some logic to partition as a process. Okay, fine. So we have seen two things. One is with respect to this Excel entities, like then process. The third one is data store, and the fourth one is data flow. So the third one we are going to see here is data stores. So it is a repository. We can store our information. All the data will be written in the data store. Okay, and this will be always mentioned as a incoming arrow, which represents some data is going to be written, or some data is going to be made available in the data stores as a data warehouse. You can just assume as a data warehouse. So whenever you require that particular data, you can just put a request and you can read the data. That is going to be outgoing arrow. So you are storing the details in the database, and when you require, you are putting a query and you are getting back the reply. Right? Likewise, we are going to use this data store. Okay. Then final thing, but data flow. I told you clearly that the movement of data from one module to other module will be clearly depicted here in data flow. That is called as data in motion. Motion, this is movement of data. Okay, it's going to be like a pipeline to carry the data. You can see here. So pipeline in the sense one after the other. We can use one after the other. Sorry. Diagrams you can see it is going to be in the pipeline one by one. Okay, so it is going to connect the process. It is not only for process. It is going to connect the process, also Excel entities, and also with the data source, which means he is the person who is going to connect all these three elements, like other elements, Excel entity, process, and also data stores. Okay, so if you are not mentioning any data flow, then actually the designer, if he is not representing the data flow, the programmer will not be in a position from where we have to get the input and how the input has to be processed, and the output of the current state where we need to give again as a input. So all these constraints cannot be done without the data flow. So basically you must understand these 4 points, like source or sink or processes, data stores, and data flows. And what are the symbols we are going to use? Please use the symbols appropriately, because most of the students will make the mistakes, like they will randomly pick process and then randomly they'll pick for data store. Okay, so you should not do that mistake. I will also tell you like few conditions and few rules which you have to follow while you are drawing the DFD. Okay, so do you have any doubts as of now, Ma?
No,
Do you
sir.
have any doubts? Yeah, fine. So we will decompose this DFD into 3 levels, like a 0th level, first level, and second level. 0th level will be called as a context diagram, and first level will be called as an overview diagram, and level 2 will be detailed diagram. You can understand how we are slowly moving towards the detailed explanation of your work. Okay, so level 0 is going to speak about only the participants or the role of the participants with respect to this context diagram, and the overview diagram, it will cover all the elements. Okay, so context diagram will speak about only the processes, and overview diagram, it is going to cover all the 4 elements. And detail diagram is nothing but you are going to break down this level into further level, which represents a clear picture of the entire model. So we'll be going for division of the model. That is nothing but the breakdown. Okay, so there is no rule as to how many levels of DFD that can be used. So we don't have any written rules. You can follow your partitioning of levels based upon your own application and also your own convenience. So we don't have any rules, such kind of rule. Okay, so but if you want to follow, you follow this level 0, 1 and 2. Okay, so I will just show few examples. So with that, I will leave you along with the slides and also with the reference material. You can sit and discuss with your friends, and you can start drawing this, start representing this diagram in terms of the DFD. Because before going to UML case diagram, this DFD will give you a better understanding how to represent. Once you have understood this topic, then drawing UML also will be very easy for identifying the processes. Okay. So first we are going to draw this level 0 diagram. No, we have considered this as for example, food ordering system. So who are the players? Customer is going to be playing a role, and the manager is going to play a role, and kitchen on which food is going to be ordered and it is going to be given back to the customer. So these three people are going to play a role, and the system is going to be food ordering system. So this is what I told you. In level 0 is going to be context diagram. So it is going to speak about only the processes that are involved. So here customer is going to follow some process, kitchen and restaurant manager. So customer is ordering something. Okay, that order is forwarded towards the kitchen. Okay, and simultaneously I am just giving the bill to the customer. Okay, and the management, it is going to collect how many number of orders it has been confirmed today. Okay, and if you want to add one more detail towards here, we can just add like delivery of foods, so that we can add. But as of now, you can just understand the people who are involved or the processes that are involved only we are representing in level 0. So it is going to represent the entire system, and who are all going to be participating in this, and it is going to give the input and output. We don't have any data stores here because we are speaking about the system in general, so we don't require any data stores as of now in level 0. Try to understand, since we have represented the entire system by means of the processes. So I told you, for any application, first you draw a level 0 diagram, which gives you an indication of how many number of processes that are involved, what actually we are going to do. So we don't represent any data stores. Okay, so this you can see in the top we have just given the context diagram that we can say level 0, and we have course registration, what we are doing. You are putting a request, like enrollment request to the course, right, the corresponding course, and the schedule has been given to the student. Okay, you have registered for a course like software engineering CSE 3001, and the schedule has been given to you like a G1 slot, and the timetable also given to you. Okay, the class list is given to the faculty member because I have to add you to people in the teams, and I have to schedule the Microsoft Teams, okay, on appropriate dates with the appropriate timings. So that has to be forwarded to the faculty, and the department is going to handle all this thing, will be called as academic department. So try to understand, I am just speaking about only the processes that are involved here. So the student, it is going to be between the student, the faculty, and the department which is going to handle all these factors. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to register my course. So who are the people involved? Student, faculty member, and academic. That's it. Very simple. You are trying to enroll a subject, and you are making a request, and you are scheduling it. The schedule has been, the schedule has been given by the academic department to the student. Simultaneously, I have been given with the class list. So all things have been connected. So this is what we are going to do in the like what we can say like a context diagram, or we can say it is a level 0 diagram. The same thing can be extended, in the next level, that is something but diagram 0. It is not diagram 0, it is like a DFD 1, or we can say level 1. Okay, so the same thing has been partitioned again. We have academic department which has scheduled the course, okay, and student has enrolled simultaneously, and he has made the request to the academics, which means the school office or the academic office, which is going to schedule. Okay, but while during the time of enrollment, you can see the arrow marks. Okay, parallelly we can also, like, it is not only for one student or it is not for one subject. So in the case, we need to make it as a generic statement. We are going for dividing this context diagram into detailed explanation. So it is going to start from the schedule course, okay, and it is going to check with the offered course, what are the courses that are offered in the current semester, and I am just going for checking the corresponding student enrollment. Okay, this is one way. And the other way, the student is making a request, that is a even enrollment request for a particular subject. Okay, and that will be checked with the course enrollment scheme, from which I will be consolidating the list of the entire class. That will be forwarded parallelly to the faculty member, and the schedule will be forwarded to the student. And I will also, the academics, dean academics or the academics department also will be checking whether the student has registered all the courses properly, whether he has registered the offered courses. That is very important. We have to check both the things, whether he has registered the courses correctly and also whether he has registered the courses which has been offered for a particular semester. Because you cannot register the courses which is not available right now. So you can see the same thing, it has been divided or subdivided into further explanation. Okay, in diagram 1, which is nothing but level 2, see here academic department, it is going to check with the course, the corresponding day and time. So Wednesday morning 9:50 to 11:30, it is for G1, and afternoon we have another slot. So likewise, I am going to assign the faculty. So academic department is going to handle this assigning of faculty members to the students, and they are going to map with the course, and then we are going to follow the rules. Like we are assigning the classrooms are following the other rules. Okay, so the thing is like it's like a refinement. I can say like it's a refinement, and you can by seeing the diagram, I can able to understand the overall perspective of the application. That is nothing but context diagram, and I will give the explanation for the each and every individual model. That will be level 1, and from the individual model, if there is something sub modules, then I can represent in diagram 1, that is called as level 2. Likewise, you have to identify level 0, okay, level 1 and level 2. Okay, understand what I'm saying, ma? Do you follow?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So once you have understood about this thing, okay, like the context diagram contains only the processes, and we have discussed about this level 1 diagram about the different inputs and outputs. Okay, and level 2 it is going to have some detailed description about the other things. We have by data stores also we are going to include here, because in 0 we are not going to include any data stores. Okay, so I will show one example. Okay, how we need to draw the diagram. Okay, just a minute. We'll be understanding. So this is a small example of a student management system where level 0 is going to be there. Like student is going to apply something. Okay, he's going to be admitted for some courses. So he's giving some data. So the data is going to be forwarded to the next stage, that is something but for intake. Intake in the sense you are going to be I mean you will be given some provisional registration letter, or you will be given some admission letter, and how it has been mapped. So likewise, each and every module with the staff, with the report, okay, they are going to communicate. So here in the example, we start on the student, and he is forwarding his like what we can say like an application to the procedure, intake procedure, okay, and parallelly the person will be storing the information whoever the students have like registered an application for particular subject or particular course. Okay. In the meanwhile, the applied is all the students who have applied will not get the result or will not get the approval. So there may be some rejection also. So I have to maintain it in the student information system that these many number of students have registered, and these many number of students have approved, and these many number of students have been rejected. That will be in the maintaining the student information task which has to be done there. Okay, and then parallelly, if you have been approved, okay, you are providing your student information, that will also be stored in the information system. Correspondingly, the details of the student will be forwarded to the next one, that is called as student data. Try to understand the student data and maintaining the student information is going to be different. In student information, we will have all the registered number of applicants and along with the result. Either it's going to be approved or rejected. If you have approved, it you will be given some student registration number and also our ID that has to be maintained in the student data. And then finally, we'll be going for generating the report. Okay. that report will be forwarded to the staff for knowing that how many number of students have been registered or how many number of students have not registered, or if they registered, what are the details it has to be there, like his email ID and his name, all these things I have to collect. For example, I'm saying. So likewise, first you just go for level 0, and then you can refine your model into level 1. See here, it's going to give the clear picture of your student information. So I have made it here, it is student information, here intake procedure, and this is some of the level 0. I will give you one suggestion, like when you are going for dividing this level, you just identify the process that are involved. Okay, so here we have 3 or 4 processes. For example, intake procedure, student information, student data, generate report. In level 0, you just give the mere information about all the processes that are involved. In level 1, which means the next level, you go for finding the individual process like student or intake procedure or generating the report or staff or make whatever the things it has mentioned as the events, you just make it as a separate level. That is called as level 1. And to an extent, from there you cannot be able to divide anything. Okay, that particular stage you please stop. If you don't have enough or if you don't have anything to divide, then you can stop here. That's why they have given one rule also. You can divide up to where you can able to partition. So beyond that, if there is no partition, please don't divide it. Okay, so I have also given the point here, I guess 1 minute. When we can stop. So what we can do is at least at the 3rd level, you please stop, try to stop. Okay, because if further dividing the process will not give any useful ideas or useful information, then it is waste for us to, the time is wasted for us to decompose the DFDs. So normally, okay, we'll be going for 3 levels. That is going to be ideal state, like level 0, level 1 and level 2. In the level 2 itself, you can able to describe all the things. If not possible, then you can go for decomposition, but still it is not going to be useful. Okay, but in case if it is required, you can decompose the level 2 DFD also. Okay, so I have told you also that there is no restriction in dividing the diagrams. I have given here. Yes, there is no rule to how many levels of DFD that can be used. So you can divide according to your own application. Okay, so I will give you 3. I will just give you an idea of how to number the processes and the rules which you would follow. So with that, I will stop. Then you can start practicing for your own application. Okay. Normally, the first level processes will be mentioned as or numbered as 1, 2, 3. Okay. And if you are going for the next level, you can make it as x.1, x.2, and x.3. So that is nothing but the representation. So we are just getting something from the parent process. Now we are the child process. So I'm making as x.1, x.2, and x.3. Okay. And the data, the numbers will be stored as do you understand now what I was telling you? I was telling you about this. Sorry, this one. Do you follow?
Yes, sir.
Fine.
So do you recommend any
So
tool
there
for
are,
making
yes, ma'am, please go ahead.
some tool for making this, some website or some app?
Or which one you were asking? BFD. Come again, ma'am, because I'm unable to hear your voice clearly. Can you just come again? What actually you were asking?
I'm asking that do you recommend any tool like a website for making this VFD?
No. You don't want to go for any specific things. You can just use any set of free software tools for drawing the DFD. If you want, I will just post here. Okay. If you want, I will post here. Okay. Any tool you can just use. It is not like a pro request tool or something which we are very much keen about it. We will be very concentrating only on UML. That software also I will be telling you. But if you want to have DFD, I will send you the link once the class is over now. Okay, I will send in the chat box. You can refer it. Okay. So do you have any doubts till now? How to categorize these 4 elements? Like starting from this point, these 4 elements I have told you: external entity, process, data flow, and data store. If you not, I will just tell you the rules and then I will leave you. You can go and practice. Okay. Rule is nothing but, okay, always you have to start the data flow from external entity to process, and then process to external entity is followed. Okay, and also the process to data store, and you can also have data store to process, or you can go for process to process. Apart from these 4 points, if you are going to draw or if you are going to represent 2 different kind of external entities, they cannot be connected together. The data cannot be moved from external entity to another external entity, and also the external entity cannot be connected to the store, and store cannot be connected to store. Like how external cannot be connected with the external entity, store cannot be connected to store, and also store cannot be connected with the external entity. So by keeping these 4 points, which one we have to do or which one we should not do, I have to follow this. These are the common errors which people will always use to do. You cannot connect, as I have mentioned, you cannot connect directly. So you must have something in between these 2 components or elements. So that element, if you are not going to connect, then obviously you are drawing a error DFT. So you will be getting reduced marks. So these are the small examples I have given, how to connect this Excel entity with the process, or Excel entity with process with the process, or process with the storing, data storing. Okay. So if you follow this rule and if you represent your DFD for any sort of applications, I have also added some more applications over here for your understanding. One more example, okay, that it has been given in the book. Okay, how they are decomposing the levels. Okay. This is also with respect to an payment, or like we can say like an e-commerce. So how they are making an order, and how the order is processed, and the payment is paid, and the receipt is generated. So I will share these slides for your reference. Okay. I just want you people to draw the diagram. You please learn it and draw the diagram for your own application. Okay. So try it out and don't do these mistakes. If you are making some other mistake in representing, okay, that's fine, but don't do the mistakes whatever we have given as a rule. Don't violate the rule. Okay. So you have asked me to show the DFD drawing tool, right? Just give me a minute. I will, yeah. Give me a minute. Yes, we have plenty of tools, but what you can do is like you can draw it online, or if you want a specific DFD, that is also demo version, you can go for Smart Draw tool or Smart Draw software, okay, which is available in the internet, okay, and or else we can go for this visual paradigm. That is also an online portal, or we can go for a free demo version. But that will be working only for I think 30 days probably, okay. And also we can go for one more thing like this is also good actually. We have tried e-draw. So this gives both this what we can say like UML and also this DFD we can able to draw in e-draw. Okay. Again, these are the things which is for free of trial version. Okay, and you can try it out. So any one of the software you can follow. I think I have posted in the chat box. Can you see the software list in the chat box?
Yes, sir.
Yes. You can use any tool, man. There is no restriction in using the free tools, open source tools. Okay. You use the tool and you draw the diagram. That's enough. I am not worried about the software. Okay. So do you understand the concept? That's very important. Do you understand the concept or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Apart from this, there are plenty of online tools where you can draw your DFT through online itself, and you can take a snap and you can upload it. Okay, that is also possible. So what I'll do is like I will upload the slides here 1 minute, so that it will be useful for you. Just give me a minute. Yes. Okay. Yes, can you check and tell me like can you see DFD in your Teams? I think it is uploaded.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yeah, now I made it as a folder. You plus check 1 minute. You just check after some time because I have made this lab 4. I am moving the file into lab 4 so that you can have a better understanding. It's uploading.
Sir, this we have to make DFD as a group project or it is an individual?
Yeah, you discuss with your friends. Discuss with your friends and no issues.
Thank you, sir.
So I think I made it as lab 4 also. 1 minute. Maybe duplication may occur.
Sir, it is visible, like both, like DFD and lab4 folder.
Okay,
The
okay. I will delete. I will delete one. I will delete one. Okay, I will delete the checked out or locked for editing by another user. Someone is trying to edit it. Okay, fine. I have also posted the same in lab 4 inside lab 4 folder. Okay, you can have this as a reference for your own application. You can start drawing it. Okay, and so as usual, we will have 2 more days of time. Probably today it is going to be okay. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So shall we have the deadline as Saturday?
Yes, sir.
Fine. So
Yes.
till 11:59, as usual, you can upload your DFDs. I guess it will be easy for you to go through the slides and to draw. Okay. Don't worry if you make any mistakes. Okay, in the DFD, you can kindly let me know like where you have made the mistake, or I will go through it and I will discuss. Probably during the next session, we will discuss all the mistakes from the individual batch of the experiments what all you have done so far. Because for the next 3 to 4 labs you will be drawing, right? So during your drawing time, I will take care of the other activities. So I get some time for verifying your files. Okay, so that is our plan. And so you keep practicing this DFD. So anyhow, you will be doing it in your challenging task and also in your main examination. So practice this DFD and all the other diagrams also one by one. Yeah. So if you don't have any doubts, okay, people, if you don't have any doubts, you can just leave and you can start preparing on it. Okay, and kindly upload it as per the guidelines. 11:59 on Saturday. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you. And if I get some other tools for drawing your DFD, I will post it in the WhatsApp group also.
So can we use online tools?
Definitely, you can. You don't have any restriction.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
So for a team, every member should draw his or her own DFT, or we can submit one.
That will be nice. If not, you say like you can represent while I was asking the batch members, you highlight what you have done in the DFT. Okay, that will be nice, right? Instead of making one person to draw all the things, you all three must learn, right? So you come up
Yes.
with your own DFDs.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, otherwise we three can draw and we can highlight what we have written, right, sir?
That is also fine. See, idea is to make you all people to learn. That's it. It's up to you to select individual DFDs and you represent. You discuss with three students and you individually draw DFD, or you divide the modules and each one draw a diagram for separate modules. That's enough. 3 modules. That is also fine.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yes. Anyhow, I will be checking during the evaluation time about the contribution of each and every individual student of the team. So yes, I will be asking you the contribution. So that time it will be very clear that who made this one. Yeah.
So,
Yes, Raghavi. I have
this is my
already.
first class.
Yes, Raghavi, I understand. We have made 2 experiments now before this, like DFD. Okay.
Okay.
So these 2 experiments you have to learn. I will find some time for you to explain. Probably we will have a separate team for first 2 experiments alone. Okay.
Okay, sir. Sure, sir. So even
You
for
just
theory.
yes, theory also I will cover both theory and lab. Don't worry. So you are coming under theory and also lab, right?
Yeah, sir.
I will do it. Don't worry. We will find some time.
Yeah, sir. Thank you so much.
By this weekend, I guess by this weekend, I think one more student also have joined today along with you, Raghavi.
Yeah, okay, sir.
Yes, so we can have a separate session in the weekend.
Okay, sir. Sure, sir.
Yeah.
Sir,
Thank you.
so the deadline we have for day after tomorrow, it's not for us, na? Or
You
we
both
also have.
please wait. Mr. Kumar and Raghavi can wait. Others, they have to follow the deadlines. You both please wait for
Sir,
some time
even
because
I have
yes.
Okay.
joined today. Sir, even I have joined today.
Yeah, what's your name, ma?
Vishakha Agarwal.
Vishaka. Yes, I have already. Yes, fine. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes, the deadline is for students who are regularly following it. The newly joined students, you can just wait for some time. Yes, Yogesh,
Sir, in the file which we should submit, we should specify all the 3 levels, sir, like the respective levels we draw.
yes, it is mandatory to represent 3 levels.
Yeah, sir.
Context also architecture diagram. Yes.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So I will give you a suggestion. If you are going to go for level 0, 1 and 2, Level 0, one student please take care, and level 1 will also level 2 by another individual student. You discuss, you three discuss, but the diagram should be made only by the individual member.
Yeah, sir.
That you
Okay.
get, yeah. Any other queries, ma'am?
So can we leave now if we don't have any doubt?
Yeah, if you don't have any doubts, you can leave and you can start working on it.
Okay, sir.
So,
Thank you,
yeah,
sir.
don't on Saturday.